Well, hi everybody. My name is Sally Roper, and I'm coming to you from Ocho Rios in Jamaica. And every Sunday morning, I do a live Facebook video of me making something. And I started this back in beginning of April when everybody was at stay-at-home orders. And I decided that what I would do was just do some videos of me at home throwing some pottery, and it has morphed into a little bit more than that. And now I do a regular session, as I said, every Sunday morning at about 9 o'clock Jamaica time. And I was unable to complete the process yesterday because some of my pots had to dry. So what I thought I would do is just go live this morning, and I would do it on my YouTube channel because I really do want to integrate and spend a little more time with YouTube so I can maybe reach a wider audience. And for those people that don't use Facebook, also have availability to my videos. Anyway, I'm just going to get right to it. Yesterday I made this utility crock, and it is a commission piece for a friend of mine. And anyway, it is dry enough now for me to be able to do the trimming. And then I have another piece that's just sitting here in the background right there that I'm going to do some slip trailing on. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you join me and stay with me, and subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please press the like, and you can even hit the bell if you want to get notified whenever I make YouTube videos, which will probably be maybe about once a month, or if not, a little more often. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to angle my camera down onto my wheel where I have a pot, and I'm going to show you how I trim and how I slip trail and the various processes that I go through to do that. So I hope you enjoy this. So this is the pot that we're going to be working on. And actually the camera's on a really good angle because you're going to see where I hold my trimming tool. So what I usually like to do is review the tools that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using a Mud Tools trimmer, and I really love this. It's got a curved end, and it's got a really sharp end here, sharp curve. So if I need to get into tight places, I don't necessarily need to do that today. And then it's got a squared off end here. So it's a really nice tool. I always have my sponge. I have a bat that can come off, and it's easy for me when I want to remove my pot off of the wheel. And then there are other pieces that I'm going to use. Well, let me get to those when I get down to the slip trailing. This is all I'm going to be using in the course. And of course, I have water here. I have my bucket of water that's right here beside me. And I am going to go ahead, and I do not put my pot on the wheel and then put down lugs of clay. The process that I use has been working for me for years, and I rarely have a problem. But what I do is I turn my pot upside down, and I just make sure that the bottom of my pot is flat. And then I also just test the thickness of my pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my bat, and I'm going to just wet the rim of my pot. And I'm going to turn this upside down. And I have to do this fairly quickly. And now I just spin it, and I feel to see if it's centered or not. And I actually got it on pretty well. But I just give it a little tap to help slide it a little bit, to see if it's on center, and it's pretty much centered. So then what I do is I take another little small bat, and I just knock it down and make sure that this seal is solid, because what's going to happen is the little bit of slip that was created on the rim from the moisture and the water I put on is creating a seal. And now this pot is just going to sit there and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't slide. So while I trim my pot. Now, I threw this pot with a very precise amount of clay. I really don't have much trimming to do. So I'm just going to clean up and tidy up the rim. And this is a commission piece of work. It is with my shrink rule. For anybody who watches my videos knows that I use a shrink rule And it looks like my camera is backwards. So anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm just going to trim and make a more defined edge on my rim. And I know there's a little bit of a wobble in there, but what's important is what's up here, because this is where I'm taking my trimming to. And I want the foot to be fairly centered. So I don't need to take any clay really off this pot. All I'm doing is just smoothing the side, and I'm evening it out. It is meant to be a straight cylinder. And you can see I have a little bit, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I do have a little bit of throwing lines. So I'm just going to go back up the pot, and I'm going to go slowly and take those lines out. Okay. Now I was very precise with the amount of clay. I started with 3 pounds, 10 ounces of clay to make it's about 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. The person who has commissioned this piece wants it a little bit larger than your normal crock because of the amount of utensils that she has in her kitchen. She does do catering. So I'm doing 3 pots for her, 1 for metal, 1 for wood, and 1 for plastic. In my kitchen, I have 2. I have 1 for wood and 1 for plastic. I mean, 1 for wood and 1 for metal. So I don't scratch my non-stick pans. Anyway, I'm going to create a bevel. This is the design that I've chosen to do, and it's about probably about a 1/2 inch bevel on the bottom. And that's just a decorative feature. But what I'm going to do now is just put another little secondary bevel here at the corner, and that just gets rid of the rough corner. And basically my trimming is done. There really wasn't a whole lot to this pot. As I said, I was careful with the measurement of the amount of clay that I had, so I really didn't have much trimming to do. But that's how you do your trimming. And then I take my metal rib, which I have, no, it's over here. And what I do is I just run it along the outside, and this just helps to do a final compression on the clay and smooth out the surface. And then in normal instances, I would just leave it to dry. I would bisque fire it, glaze it, and then fire it again. But my client wants a small amount of decoration on it, so you're going to see me do that. And I'm not going to do it on this pot because I actually need this pot to sit out and dry just a little bit. And if I let it dry even for about an hour, it will be a lot better when I go to apply the slip trailing. Now, I'm not going to sign it yet either. I'm going to wait for the bottom to harden a little bit. And now what I do is I just hold my ruler on the bottom, and I make sure that there's no bend or no wow, because this has to sit flat on a kitchen counter. And so I just very lightly press it down, and now that's good. So I am basically done with this pot. Now, it's because it's sealed on there. I don't want to risk misshaping the roundness of this pot or moving it off of center. So what I do is I just take my pot up, and then I just rest it on my knee, and I bend it. And I just bend the bat a little bit, and it helps to release the pot off of the bat. And so now you see it just lifts off easily. So I'm just going to carefully lift it up, turn it upside down. And I'm pretty much finished the trimming part of this pot. What I'm going to do is just carefully, I have beam mix clay here, there's no grog, so I can just run my sponge over, over the rim of my pot and smooth it out. And therefore, it's, I don't know why I said therefore. Anyway, this is it. It's a completed pot, and all I have now left to do is the slip trailing. So I'm going to put this, I have my counter over here, and I have another pot that I just trimmed maybe about half an hour ago. And this is the pot that I made yesterday. Okay, sorry to knock myself out of the picture here. Anyway, this is the pot I made yesterday, so it's had a bit of time to dry. So when I do the slip trailing on this, it's going to stick a little bit better. And I'm just running my hands over to the pot to make sure that that everything is smooth and nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to angle the camera back down to my wheel so I can show you the next step. And this is going to be the slip trailing. Okay, so this is the pot that we're going to do, and this is a pot that I actually trimmed yesterday. Again, I can just make sure that the bottom is very flat, which is what I need. I did not do a foot ring on this pot, and that was on purpose because when this pot is going to be in use, it's going to be, people are going to be putting utensils and stuff in it, and I want the floor of the pot to sit flat against the countertop or wherever this vessel is being used. And so I did throw the bottom a little bit thicker than I normally do. I normally do my bottoms at about 3 or 4 millimeters, and this one is 6 millimeters thick, so it's almost twice as thick. And that's because it's going to be there's going to be some wear and tear. So I just want this pot to stand up, and when I give it to my client, it will be working nicely. Anyway. Let me go on now to, I'll just put that aside over, I'm just sitting it on, I have a little work area here. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. I don't need this bat anymore, but what I need is, these are the things that I'm going to use now. I have a slip trailing bottle. I have some Potter's slip, it's Minnesota Clay Company, and it's just black Potter's slip. And I have a little mini whisk, and I have a turkey baster. And this is all I need now for the next step. And you kind of wonder, this is an odd assortment. Oh, and I need a piece of paper, which I have here on my bench. Let me bring it. So there's a reason why I have this little piece of paper as well. So this is what I need for my slip trailing. Now, generally, when I put the slip into my applicator, I make sure that my lid is clean. It is. I cleaned it before I came online, and the turkey baster. You're probably wondering, what the heck do you need a turkey baster for? Well, it is an easy way I have found to get, especially if you're using. I have one of these Zeem slip trail bottles, and to fill this is really a pain in the neck because you're supposed to put it in, squeeze it, put it in, and then suck out the thing. But I have found now that using a turkey baster, that solves a lot of my problems. So what I do is I just apply the tip into the baster. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to suck up. I think this is a great idea. Now, I'm not going to be using this one. I'm actually going to use this applicator. But what I would do is I would suck up the slip with the turkey baster, and then I would just put it in the Zeem bulb, and there's no mess. And I just think it's a great idea. And I saw another potter doing this, and I said, I've got to adopt that system. But I'm going to show you how it works, and I'm going to put the slip into my applicator, and I'll just show you. So we just suck up some slip. And then I'm just going to put it into the applicator. And that's that. And that's a job. There's no mess, there's no muss, and there's no fuss, and it's easy. It's easy as that. And my turkey baster is clean. And now I have the slip. And what I did earlier, and I didn't show you now, is what do I use the whisk for? So what I do is I have this little mini whisk. It's probably a bartending whisk, funny enough. And I just go in and I whisk my slip before and try and get out any little bumps that could clog up the nib of the applicator. And so I did do that earlier, and my slip is pretty lump free. And then I just rinse it off, and that's it. And now we're ready to go. And I've already chosen a design that I'm going to do on this utility crock. And let me bring it back. All right, so here we go. Now, normally I just give this a good shake and make sure that everything is in and running smoothly. Now, why do I need the little piece of paper? I always test how my applicator is flowing before I ever go in and start the application. And I also have a piece of paper towel here just to wipe off the nib in case it starts to get clogged up. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run this along, and I'm just going to get a feel for how the slip is flowing, and it's flowing really nicely. And I just do, 3 or 4 lines on my piece of paper, and I know that my slip trailing is my applicator is ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to turn this up a little bit now and put it more into my lap, because this is where I'm going to be working from. I'm going to get a towel and rest it in my lap. Let me just, again, slide this over a little bit, and you're going to see where I'm working from. So the design that I've chosen is just a series of dashes and dots. And it's just going to be in the top, probably the top half of this pot. And then if I decide later on to go all the way down, I can do that. So now I'm ready to go. And it's just a matter now of just squeezing and applying a little bit of pressure, and the slip is going to come out. And so I control everything with my thumb. It is doing all the work in this. And as I move my applicator down my pot, I can show you, like, depending upon how hard I hold it, I can make a big blob. I can go blob, blob. I can do all kinds of different things. So it's just a matter of how much pressure I put with my thumb onto the applicator. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to turn it. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just dots and dashes. And the more you mix it up, the prettier it becomes. There's no right or wrong way. Now, sometimes I get a little air bubble and there's a little trap, and you just work yourself through it. And I seem to be going a little bit longer, so let me try and just even this out a little bit. So as this slip trail is going to start to go under here, it's wet, so I have to be fairly careful now. So actually, I think I'm going to move away this. And I've got to make sure now that I just stay on the rim. I don't, actually, I'm going to move that entirely. And as it goes, because I don't want to interfere with any of the patterning that I've done. And you can see, and that's all slip trailing is, and you can create your own pattern. And eventually you get into a little bit of a rhythm. But because I'm just doing, a random design, there's no right or there's no wrong. Okay. And sometimes I feel that the glaze is sticking. which is what it's doing now. I just give it a little knock. Test it on my paper again. It's flowing again. And that happens with the slip, just because there may be little globs and blobs. Now, I'm doing a set of 3 utility crocks for my friend. One is going to be for metal utensils, one is going to be for plastic, and one is going to be for wood. And I contemplated writing the words. Again, I want to make sure that the flow is nice. I was contemplating writing words, but you know, then it just becomes very specific, and I like things to be generic. And people may want to use this for something other than utilities, kitchen utensils and stuff. So I'm just going to leave it plain. I'm not going to write anything on it. I was going to, but I'm not going to. We're almost finished. So this is really how easy it is. If I were following a pattern, I might draw a pattern on my pot in advance, but I'm not. I'm just doing free lining. I have to be careful now because just around the corner here is the start of the pattern, but I've got another, and this is just part of it. And this is why I use the little whisk, is to hopefully eliminate these blobs that are clogging up the applicator. But it's not hard to get it flowing again. She says, but it's good when things don't go 100% perfectly, so you get to see what happens when you make when you have to be creative. Anyway, there's the piece. So this is it. And this is the way it's going to stay, and this will dry along with the pot. So this is it is not leather hard. It is dry leather hard. It's not leather hard, but it's not bone dry either. So this is the time when I've chosen to apply the underglaze. What I can do is on this other one is maybe do a different pattern. So maybe I could do random dots instead of going up and down. So maybe that's what I'll do. Is I'll just do random dots. So there will be a similarity in them, but there'll be a difference. And again, each time I want to make a dot, I just press with my thumb. And there's, again, no right or wrong. I don't have a pattern. This is just free falling. But it's that easy. It's really not very difficult. And if you're not experienced or not used to doing slip trailing, once you get used to it, it's really not very difficult. And you can make your own slip by just taking some of your own clay and watering it down, and then you can add some pigment stains. Mason stain is the one that's probably most popular. But I've also seen stains that are on, it's called US pigments. And they're good as well for pigments for clays. And then you can create your slips in any color you want. And the sky's the limit. You're limited by your own creativity. And then you can always go on Pinterest or go on YouTube and look and see what other people are doing. I try not to copy people, but I do admit that I get ideas from other potters. in what I make, but I try to also give it my own spin and my own twist. I don't think it's right that I steal 100% their design. Now, I've made a little bit of a goof here, so let me show you how to fix this. Let me just do it right now. So I've made a bit of a line here, and I don't want a line, so I'm going to take my sponge, and I'm going to very carefully just swipe up. And that's as easy as fixing a mistake. And I just rinse out my sponge. And now there's no evidence. And I've fixed that. And I'm just going to now put another dot over that spot. And that's it. That was correcting I mean, it wasn't really a mistake. A line wouldn't have mattered and wouldn't have hurt. But I was wanting to show you what happens if you need to make a correction. And it's that easy, because this slip has not hardened or dried. And it's still easily manipulated and manageable. So now I've met up with the other side. Okay. And that's the second one. That's how easy it is. That's how quick it is, and that's how easy it is. And now I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for the third one. And this is the one that you just saw me trim. It's the third one of a series. And I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. So let me think. I think I'm going to do another one of the maybe I can do a combination of lines and dots. So I just bring them all together. So I'll just do a line, and then maybe I could do some dots. I'll clean that up later. There. And this will bring the two pots that I've just done together. Okay. All right, and we're almost finished. I'll go back. I need to put that down. There's something clogging this nib. And this happens with slip trailing. It's not always perfect, and it's not always easy. And sometimes you get a clog. And I just take off the applicator. If I squeeze it now with all of the liquid down there, it should squeeze easily. And you can hear the air coming out. So now the clog is unblocked, and I should be able to get back to. Nope, it's still there. Sorry, guys, but it's almost good when you see things give me trouble. Okay, I'm gonna put my needle tool down it and see if that unblocks the applicator. There we go. I got it. Whatever was there, I think I got it now. Okay. Let's go back. So all these little smudges, I'll come back and clean them up later. Like I said, I'm in a pattern. You know, you find that you're in a groove. And you're just running your hands steadily. Oops. Seems I've smudged some on my finger, so let me clean that up because that is definitely going to interfere. Okay. And fixing is that easy. Now I've got it. There we go. Back to the races. Keep my little finger off the pot. Sometimes I have my little finger on the pot just to help steady my hand. And that's what smudged the last time, so we'll just leave my finger off the pot. Okay, now I'm starting to see the beginning of this pot. So this is where now I have to figure out how to space it so that it's going to work and look nice. So we're just going to do this. And here we go. Now I'm back to the beginning. And that's the pot. So there we go. There we have it. And I will show you all three of them. And there they are. Can you see them? I can't come in. Well, I can actually. Let me just pick up my camera, my webcam, and I'll come in a little bit closer. And you can see them. And those are the three pots. Those are trimmed and slip trailed. That's that. So that's it for me today. I want to thank you very much for watching. And welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope that that you enjoyed this video. I'm a hobby potter. I'm not educated in pottery. I have no formal training, but I have watched thousands upon thousands of hours of videos, and I've taken some really good concepts that other potters have, and I have adapted them to my style and the way my hands work and the way pottery works well for me. So I hope that that what I show you helps you in the future, whether it's just passing a half an hour away of your day or whether you really want to learn something. So I thank you very much for watching. Again, my name is Sally Roper. I'm coming to you from Jamaica in the West Indies, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm going to go enjoy the rest of it. So thank you all very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I don't do a lot of YouTube videos, but I hope that the few that I do are very helpful and entertaining. So thank you all very much. Have a great day.